going on, everyone? James Hancock here. I'm back to discuss a little Westworld. Just saw episode 3, The Stray, directed by Neil Marshall. For those of you who don't know who Neil Marshall is, check out a little 2005 horror action flick called The Descent. I guarantee you will shriek in terror and be absolutely exhilarated by the experience. But he's usually the director who comes in for one episode a season on Game of Thrones to deliver a major action set piece. And it's usually around episode 8 or 9 where they have like the one big token battle of the season. But he was brought in for an episode that was by no means tame. It just didn't have huge carnage or anything like that. But The Stray is further evidence that Westworld is by far the coolest show on television right now. It's the only show that I really even feel like watching because it's got everything that I love. It's got great writing. It's got phenomenal acting, science fiction, westerns. It's just spectacular. And I can't say enough positive things about it. And if you're not watching it, you're probably not watching a review of episode 3. So I'm going to make this episode purely for the converted. If you're unconverted, but for whatever reason watching this video, just start with episode 1 and work your way forward. You're missing out on the coolest thing on TV right now. This episode had so many fascinating revelations and interesting twists, and there are just so many great storylines to follow. My favorite storyline was barely even in this episode, and I didn't miss it at all. I mean, my favorite episode is Ed Harris's character, the Man in Black, and trying to find this maze to get to the deepest levels of the game, and he barely even appears in this, except for in the context of Dolores Abernathy, who's played by Evan Rachel Wood, some of her memories that keep coming back from previous atrocities that he has inflicted upon her. She's definitely, I mean, while Thandie Newton was the star of last episode, it seems as if Evan Rachel Wood is going to be the central protagonist of this show, because Anthony Hopkins, while he looms large over everything, I'm not quite sure if he's the hero or what he is, because he's got this mysterious agenda at play and is designing this new part of the game or part of the experience that is going to radically change all the storylines, and he's starting to manipulate everybody's software, and it seems like we just keep, like an onion being peeled back, having its layers peeled back, we keep learning more and more about the backdrop of this park and how it came to be. Anthony Hopkins, his character is named, I've got it written down, but I'm not seeing it. Anyway, his character and Jeffrey Wright have this great conversation about the history of the park. And Hopkins has an old partner who people are starting to remember. This guy's name is Arnold. My suspicion is that Arnold has something to do with Ed Harris's character. Whether or not they're one and the same, who knows? Or maybe he's like an avatar to represent Arnold. But Arnold essentially felt as if the hosts now had consciousness or a soul. They basically had experience and improvisation and memory, and that they were now looking after their own self-interest and were almost like just about to achieve what human beings have. And he died under mysterious circumstances, but even that seemed to be a little bit like Anthony Hopkins was holding something back. But Jeffrey Wright, in turn, seems to have his own agenda. His own agenda really seems to be filling the void from the loss of his son who died prematurely by allowing Evan Rachel Wood's character to continue to evolve. He keeps having these clandestine meetings with her, having these conversations about her responses and what her thoughts are and who she is and what she's becoming. And it seems as if he is very, very content to step back and let her see who she can become. And in this episode, spoiler alert, she basically overrides her inability to use weapons. There's a great scene where James Marsden character is trying to teach her how to use a gun, and she's physically incapable of pulling the trigger, probably due to programming, because only certain hosts are even allowed to use weapons of any kind. They even have a scene where they illustrate how these guys are on a campfire. Only one of them is even programmed to use an axe. But while she's being attacked, and part of her circular narrative, she finally whips out this guy's gun and blows his ass away. And she's having flashbacks to when the Man in Black raped her. And then she runs away, and she's breaking her own narrative, which is really, really exciting to see. And it seems as if one of the people that was attacking her was a guest, and that played a part in it. And anyway, it's all, I'm kind of zigzagging because it's hard to focus because there's so many different things happening at once. Because meanwhile, Evan Rachel Wood has this great character arc with James Marsden's character, who started out as kind of this boring, sweet kind of good guy whose sole job was to get killed. Now he's been given new programming by Anthony Hopkins to be part of this crazy new storyline, hunting down this like demonic madman named Wyatt. And Wyatt apparently like laid waste to a village and has done all these horrible things. And James Marsden leads a group of people to try to hunt him down, including a guest, someone who I believe is a guest, this girl who's been like acting as a bounty hunter and hooking up with hot prostitutes and doing all this stuff. But it seems like she's part of the tourists, not part of the hosts. But when they finally meet Wyatt's gang, they get attacked by this group that I don't know if it was like the White Walkers or zombies or pirates or what, but they look totally un-Western like. I don't know how to describe them, but they were very, very gray and mysterious and had wild weapons and seemed impervious to gunfire and kept coming after them. It was an insane scene, and I don't know if there's like some genre bending going on or if I was just misunderstanding what was happening. But this show continues to be just wildly unpredictable. And at the very end of it, after all said and done, we had this great bit with Evan Rachel Wood kind of stumbling out of the desert into the arms of the man who I'm just going to call now White Hat. Because I think the actor's name is, let's see what IMDb says. I'm not seeing him. I'm looking at the list of the characters from this episode, but for whatever reason, he is not popping up. He's the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And he's one of the only people who seems to be trying to be a nice person on this campsite or reservation or tourist attraction or whatever the hell it is you want to call Westworld. But I love the fact that he has this great scene where a bad guy is holding a prostitute around the neck and threatening to do her harm. He steps out like a good guy. He ends up getting shot, to his surprise. He didn't know he could get shot or hurt. But then he saves the day. And I have a feeling that of all the guests, he's probably going to be the guest most capable of doing some nice things and doing some good deeds, because it seems like more guests, more often than not, just use the park for drinking and screwing and hell-raising and acting like a complete son of a bitch. And he seems to be really leaning into his role as a white hat. Anything else from this episode that jumped out at me? I think that about covers it. But yeah, there's just some great details. Like there's a great moment where they find a fly-covered corpse and they think that he's dead, and then all of a sudden he starts kind of coughing and writhing around. He's still alive, and that was freaky. And there's a great bit where James Marsden's character, after dying for like the 1,000th time, we see them redesigning an eye to replace the one that's been damaged. And it's just, the science fiction elements are just so incredible to watch. I'm loving every single thing about it. So yeah, it's going to be a short review. There's not really any major revelations, just more mysteries. The teaser shows this huge piece of construction building this new area that's Anthony Hopkins' next big storyline, and him threatening someone who's going to be in his way, who seems to be an employee of the resort. And I can't wait to see what happens in episode 4. So hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you're enjoying Westworld. Give me a shout on Twitter at Colbrax if you want to talk more about it. And please subscribe to my channel and give me a little comment and all that good stuff. But hope you're enjoying Westworld, and I'll talk to y'all later. So long, folks.